Hello, how are you? This is Key West Lou Live. I am your host, Louis Patron. Serious subject today, heroin. Heroin. I have talked about heroin production and the story I'm going to lay out to you, except for the numbers about how it's increasing. I've been talking about and writing about for 5 years. Here's the story. Heroin production, the poppy fields, growing the poppies and cultivating and turning this stuff into heroin, in Afghanistan is on the rise on a consistent basis. Now understand, we have been in Afghanistan for 17 years. We've been at war in Afghanistan for 17 years. Do you ever wonder why the hell we've been there that long? I'm beginning to suspect something's wrong someplace, and I have for the past several years. Because, in all that time, not one poppy field has been bombed. Now, how many people have died in Afghanistan? How many of our soldiers? Not one poppy field has been bombed. You see the destruction, cities, people dying, but not one poppy field has been bombed. Not one poppy warlord has been killed. They own the farms. Not one farmer who is working the farms has been killed. Everything's kumbaya over there when it comes to growing poppy and taking the seeds and turning it into heroin and then shipping it to the United States for sale. Now this is very important because, as you know, and if you don't know something's wrong with you, start paying attention. This is most serious. Our heroin deaths every day go up dramatically. At the present time, approximately 200 people die in this country every day from heroin addiction, and 95% of that heroin comes from where? Afghanistan. That means, for example, that last year 72,000 people died in our country because of heroin, 95% of which 68,000 people died from heroin that came from Afghanistan, where people can't stay alive, kids are getting killed, cities are destroyed, but the poppy fields, they never get hurt. The farmers never get hurt. Production's going up all the time. They're doing terrific over there. I'm laughing, but it's true. Now, I believe, and I've said this before, people got to be on the take. I mean, how can these poppy fields, by the way, they have grown. Since we went to Afghanistan, the production of heroin has grown significantly. It was down here when we started the war, or we went to fight the war, rather, and it's just gone up every year. How can this be? We're spending money, by the way, every day to fight the raising of poppy and development and production of heroin in Afghanistan. Presently, a recent study shows that the United States is spending $1.5 million, a lot of money, $1.5 million a day, not a month, a week, or a year, a day to fight heroin production. They're putting the money in over there in Afghanistan. This has nothing to do with our soldiers. Some of these people are soldiers who are fighting it. But $1.5 million a day. And it seems the more money we put in, the more successful heroin production is in Afghanistan. I'm laughing again. I smile because this is so stupid, so ridiculous. And when I say somebody's got to be on the take, I believe Afghan leaders are on the take. I believe some of our leaders, civilian soldiers, I don't know who, somebody has to be on the take, and more than one, coming from the side of the good guys, for this stuff to go on like it has, and this stuff to come over here, all right, and kill roughly 200 people a day in our country because of heroin addiction. Does it make sense? I don't think it makes sense to you. It's a good business, poppy cultivation. Somebody's making big money. And I'm sure there's a lot of money to go. People's hands are being greased. on the United States side. I've got to believe it. I can't prove it. But it's got to be on the side of the Afghans and whoever else is involved in all of this growing and sending it over and trading and selling. Big money. So that's my story for today. The consistent rise in the production of heroin, which results, and I'm being repetitious, but it should be repeated, in the deaths of about 200 people a day on our